Hello friends, welcome back. And in the previous video we saw that how the um, scientists find out that based on the experiment on the earthquake waves, how they decided that what is the internal structure of the earth could be, what could be the things inside the earth, what could be their density, and what kind of matter it could be there inside the earth. So today we are going to see, based on the various studies done by the various various scientists, we will see that what was the internal structure of the earth finally decided as per the modern uh, description. What is the division of the layers, and what are the different layers and how they behave and what is their density. Let's see that, and that is very much important from the exams perspective as well. If you are giving any exam, then in that case it will be useful for you. Okay, so let's see. This is the topmost layer, which is called the crust, and the density of this layer is 2.823. Right, this is the least dense layer of the earth. Right, so as you move inside, due to the weight from the top of the earth, this makes the thing more dense inside the earth. Right, so when you reach inside, when you reach inside here, this is up till around 1000 to 1200 kilometers is there, right? Until 2900 kilometers, this is between the upper crust, the crust and the mantle, and there is core. So there are three parts. This is called the crust, this is called the mantle, M1 and M2. This is called the mantle, which is in the molten state, which is in the liquid state, and then comes the core of the earth, right? So the molten state, which is the M1 and M2, this is also divided in two parts, the upper mantle and the lower mantle, and similarly core has been divided into two parts, upper core, inner core, or you can say the outer core and the inner core, right? So at the crust, when the crust ends at this point, up to 1200 kilometers, when the crust stops, I mean the crust layer is done, after that there is a discontinuity. Discontinuity means there is nothing specific in between these layers. There is just matter which is just allowing you to float the two layers, right? So this is called the discontinuity. This layer, between the two layers there is a space which is called the discontinuity. So the first discontinuity is called the Moho discontinuity. This was found by the Moho Rorovic. That was the name of the scientist. So he found that there is a change in the speed of the P waves after certain distance. After 1200 kilometers, there is a change in the speed, right? And after that, what happened, that only the P waves could penetrate this, because P waves are the can travel in the liquid, and they can also travel in the solid. But S waves, they were vanished, they were not there. So in the mantle, no S wave was visible, no S wave was experienced, right? So he found that all of a sudden the S waves vanished, and also the P wave changes its speed, and after that it again increased its speed, which means that inside the after this discontinuity, after some space, after some kilometer of space, there was a place where the P waves moved ahead with the higher speed, right? So that portion, because of the having the higher density, the speed was higher here, right? All of a sudden the speed increased for the P waves. So this layer between the this layer after this discontinuity, which is called the Moho discontinuity, this layer is called the mantle. So there are two layers of the mantle, upper mantle and the lower mantle. Between these two layers there is one more discontinuity, smaller discontinuity, which is called the Repti discontinuity. And this discontinuity is basically a level at which both the upper and lower mantles are floating, right? So the upper mantle and lower mantle, there is a Repti discontinuity. This mantle is very much important. This total mantle portion is making 83% of the total Earth's material. So the total Earth material is of 83% made of this mantle portion, and the total mass of Earth, 68% of the total mass of the Earth is the mantle, and 83% of the total material inside the earth, that is your M1 and M2, which means mental, right? So that is the mental portion, M1 and M2. So between these two mentals there is one more discontinuity, smaller discontinuity, which is called the repti, right? And how they find out that there is a discontinuity? Because again, when the P waves were moving, again a short span of distance came, where the speed was lowered because of the low density of the P wave. Because of the low density, the P waves speed gets lowered, and after that again the P waves speed increased. So that is how they found that yes, there is a there is a discontinuity there as well. And after that we come to the core. Between the core and the mantle there is one more discontinuity, which is called the Gutenberg discontinuity. And here the density is the higher. Inside the core the density is the higher. It started increases from 9 to 10, and till the inner core it increases towards the center as 13. So 13.6 is the density at the core of the earth. Because of the so much of load, so much of the weight, the density at the core is highest. Okay, so that is why at the core the density is the highest. Between the core 1 and core 2, again the same logic of the P waves. When they were traveling, based on the travel of the P waves, based on the change in the speed of the P waves, they decided that there is also one more discontinuity between the two cores. The top core, the inner core, and the outer core, there is one more discontinuity, and that discontinuity is known as the Lehman discontinuity, right? So this Lehman discontinuity was there, and the density of the core, upper and lower core, it was on an average starts from 9 to 10 and reaches till 13.6. And here the speed of the P waves is the highest. They travel at a very high speed, because as the density increases, the speed of P waves increases in the medium, right? So you need to remember these things. These are very simple things. I mean, it's not that tough. If you see this again and again, you will be able to remember it easily, right? So there is crust, and after that there is a mantle. Between crust and mantle there is a discontinuity, and discontinuity is Mohr discontinuity. The second discontinuity between M1 and M2, the mantle 1 and mantle 2, is Repti discontinuity. And the core 1 and core 2, the core is the highest density thing, and its density is around 13.6. And between the two cores, the inner core and the outer core, there is one more discontinuity, which is known as the Lehman discontinuity. So I hope you got the point, and in the next video you will see more about the internal structure of the earth, and we will see that how the scientists worked on this one to decide what could be the exact structure of the earth and what could be inside the earth, right? So these are the basic concepts based on which scientists started that how to understand what is the basic thing inside the earth, right? So this is all about for today, and in the next video we will meet again. And in the next video maybe I will start with the oceans and the continents, how they were created, and what is the concept behind their creation, what is the rock formation, and how the molten magma comes out and how it creates the various landforms, and all those things we can start from the next video. But I will obviously cover all the internal structure of the earth things along with that, right? So I will try to connect the things as much as possible. So till then, have a nice day. Bye bye, and please like, subscribe my channel and share my videos. Okay, have a nice day and bye bye.